Hello, everyone, and welcome back to today's story. In this episode, we follow Alex and Tuna through one of the darkest chapters of their lives. Just as their orchard begins to recover, a shocking betrayal strikes from within. Mai, Alex's longtime friend, joins forces with his mother to kidnap little Henry in a ruthless attempt to force Tuna out of Alex's life forever. What begins as a desperate plan soon spirals into a storm of guilt, pain, and confrontation. As Alex races through the rain to find his family, he must face not only those who betrayed him, but also the truth about what he's willing to sacrifice for love. Stay with us until the end to witness this emotional journey, and don't forget to subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Your support truly means the world to us. The late afternoon sun drenched the grapefruit orchard in amber light, glinting off rows of glossy leaves. Workers moved briskly between trees, their laughter mingling with the rustle of fruit being packed into wooden crates. Alex stood among them, his shirt clinging to his back, sleeves rolled up, eyes sharp and focused. "Make sure the ripe ones go first," he called out, checking the crates with practiced precision. Every fruit mattered. Every second counted. Beside him, Ms. Lon wiped her forehead. "We're ahead of schedule, Alex. The last batch should be done before sunset." Alex nodded, though his thoughts were elsewhere, on Tuna and little Henry back at the house. He'd promised to join them for dinner after the shipment left. "Good," he said, scanning the clouds building on the horizon. "We can't risk losing any more to the weather." He turned as a pickup truck rattled up the dirt path. John's truck. "Perfect timing," Alex muttered. The sound of the engine faded as John stepped out, offering his usual easy grin. "You've outdone yourself this season," he said, inspecting the gleaming grapefruit. Alex forced a smile. "Quality's all we've got left to rely on." John clapped his shoulder. "Keep that spirit, and your grove will bounce back faster than you think." But even as they loaded the crates, Alex's gaze kept flicking toward his phone. Tuna hadn't replied to his last message. Normally, she'd send him a quick update about Henry's nap or some cute thing he said. But today, nothing. Maybe she was just busy, or maybe something felt off. After John's truck disappeared down the road, Alex lingered near the trees, restless. He glanced again at his phone. No messages. With a sigh, he wiped his hands on his jeans and started walking toward the house, unaware that danger was already moving closer to his doorstep. At home, Tuna hummed softly while folding Henry's tiny clothes. The afternoon light streamed through the bamboo blinds, painting warm stripes across the wooden floor. Henry sat nearby, playing with a small wooden truck Alex had carved for him. The piece was comforting, too comforting. She smiled faintly, whispering, "Your daddy will be home soon." A knock at the door startled her. It was Mai, Alex's old friend from the city. She wore a crisp white dress, her hair tied neatly, smile warm, but eyes unreadable. "Hi, Tuna. I brought you some herbal tea for your throat. Alex mentioned you'd been coughing." Tuna smiled, grateful. "That's kind of you, Mai. Come in." Mai stepped inside, her gaze drifting around the simple but cozy home. "It's beautiful here," she said softly, though her tone carried something else. Envy, perhaps, or calculation. "Alex really found peace, didn't he?" Tuna laughed lightly. "He did, We both did. Mai set down the basket and knelt to greet Henry. You must be Henry. Oh Mai, you look just like your father. Henry giggled, reaching for the ribbon on her sleeve. For a brief moment, the scene looked harmless, sweet even. But as Tuna stepped into the kitchen to heat water for tea, Mai's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, a text flashing from Ms. Puong. Is she alone with the child? Mai typed quickly, yes. Alex is still at the Grove. Her expression hardened as she slipped the phone back into her purse. By the time Alex returned home, dusk was settling. The crickets had begun their nightly chorus, and the air smelled faintly of citrus and rain. But as soon as he stepped inside, a chill ran down his spine. The house was too quiet. Tuna, he called. Henry? No answer. Only the distant hum of the ceiling fan. He checked the living room. Empty. The kitchen? Empty too. The teapot still sat on the stove, water boiled over and long evaporated. Panic surged. He rushed outside, calling their names again, voice echoing across the orchard. Then his phone rang. Alex, came Mai's voice, calm and composed. You shouldn't worry. Henry's safe. Alex froze. What did you say? Henry's with me, she said. Your mother wanted to make sure the boy was protected. His grip tightened around the phone. Protected from what, Mai? From his own mother? There was a pause, followed by a sigh. From a future that could destroy you both. Tuna doesn't belong in your world, Alex. Your mother just wants what's best for you. Alex's voice cracked with fury. Mai, if you or my mother hurt them... She cut him off, her tone turning sharp. No one's hurting anyone. But if Tuna truly loves you, she'll do what's right. She'll leave. The line went dead. Meanwhile, miles away, Tuna sat trembling in a dimly lit warehouse near the edge of town. Her wrists weren't bound, but fear held her captive all the same. Henry slept in her arms, unaware of the danger. Mai stood by the door, arms crossed. You don't have to make this difficult, she said. Alex will be fine. Once you're gone, things will return to normal. Tuna's voice shook. You think taking my child will make him love you? You're wrong, Mai. Whatever you and his mother are doing, it'll destroy him. Mai flinched, but quickly regained composure. You wouldn't understand. He's destined for more than this farm life. You're holding him back. Tuna rose slowly, her eyes fierce. I've watched him work through storms, rebuild after floods, and fight to protect people who depend on him. You call that weakness? You don't love him. You just want to control him. For a moment, silence stretched between them. Then Mai turned away, her voice softening. You should rest. We'll talk in the morning. As the door clicked shut, Tuna clutched Henry tighter, tears spilling silently. Don't be scared, my love, she whispered. Mommy's here. I'll find a way to get you home. Outside, rain began to fall, tapping against the tin roof like an ominous clock counting down the hours. Back at the house, Alex was already in his truck, driving through the downpour. His headlights cut through sheets of rain, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. Come on, Mai. Where did you take them? He muttered, replaying every word she'd said. He called his mother, voice trembling. Mom, tell me this isn't true. Tell me you didn't... Ms. Puong's reply was cool and deliberate. Alex, listen to me. That woman will ruin you. She's not from our niche. She doesn't belong." "Enough," he shouted. "You've crossed a line." "Everything I do is for you," she insisted. "One day, you'll thank me." Alex hung up before she could finish. His chest heaved as he slammed his foot on the gas, eyes darting between the road and his GPS. The storm roared, wind howling like a warning, but he didn't slow down. He couldn't. Somewhere out there, Tuna and Henry were waiting, and he'd tear apart every shadow of this town to find them. The screen fades to black on the image of his truck disappearing into the rain, headlights burning through the dark, driven by love and fury in equal measure. The storm raged through the night, its wind screaming against the windows of the small warehouse. Inside, the dim light from a single bulb flickered as Tuna sat on the floor, rocking Henry gently in her arms. Her eyes were heavy with exhaustion, but her mind stayed sharp, alert to every sound beyond the door. She replayed everything: Mai's expression, the cold precision in her voice, the way she avoided meeting her eyes, and Ms. Puang, Alex's mother. It finally made sense. The polite smiles, the thinly veiled remarks about class and status. They'd been planning this for weeks, maybe longer. Henry stirred, whimpering softly. Tuna kissed his forehead, whispering, "It's okay, sweetheart. Mommy's going to get us out of here." A faint creak came from outside. Tuna stiffened. The door opened just enough for a tall figure to slip in. For a moment, fear gripped her chest until she saw the familiar shadow. "Alex!" she gasped. He rushed forward, drenched and breathless, eyes scanning the room before landing on her and Henry. "You're safe," he murmured, voice breaking as he knelt beside her. He gathered them into his arms, clutching them as though afraid they might vanish. Tuna's tears fell freely. "They took us. I didn't know where." "I know," Alex whispered, pulling back just enough to look her in the eyes. "I tracked Mai's phone. You were never far from the grove." His jaw tightened. "I'm ending this. Tonight." But before they could move, footsteps echoed down the hall. Mai's voice carried through the air, low but urgent. "Alex, stop. Don't make this worse." He turned as she appeared in the doorway, umbrella dripping rainwater, her expression torn between guilt and defiance. "You weren't supposed to come here." Alex rose, shielding Tuna and Henry behind him. "You've already done enough damage, Mai. Where's my mother?" "She's waiting at the house," Mai said quietly. "She only wanted to protect you. You've changed since you met her, Alex. You've forgotten who you are." "I haven't forgotten," he shot back. "I finally remembered what matters." Mai's lips trembled. "You think love will save you? You're sacrificing everything for her." Alex stepped closer, eyes blazing. "If you ever cared about me at all, you'll step aside." For a long, tense second, the only sound was the rain hammering the roof. Then Mai's shoulders slumped. "Take them. Go." Tuna rose, clutching Henry close. As she passed, she whispered, "You still have a good heart, Mai. Don't let her poison it." Mai's eyes shimmered, but she said nothing. The drive back to the farm was silent except for Henry's quiet breathing. The rain had slowed to a drizzle, and the horizon began to pale with the first hint of dawn. When they arrived, Ms. Puang was waiting on the porch, arms folded, face hard as stone. Alex parked and stepped out slowly, his expression unreadable. "Where's Mai now?" he asked. His mother didn't answer. Her gaze went past him, landing on Tuna, who stood behind him with Henry in her arms. "You shouldn't have brought her back," she said coldly. "That woman will destroy this family." Tuna froze, her fingers tightening around the baby. Alex's voice cut through the air, steady but filled with fury. "Enough, Mom. You went too far. You lied, manipulated, and you used Mai to kidnap my son. I did what any mother would," Ms. Puang said, her tone trembling with conviction. "You're blinded by emotion. Do you know what people say about you? About her? You've abandoned your niche, your legacy." "My legacy?" Alex interrupted, stepping closer. "You think money and status define me? You taught me better than that once. Or have you forgotten the days we had nothing?" Ms. Puang's jaw tightened. "We built this life so you'd never struggle the way I did. And yet you're the one tearing it apart," he replied. For a moment, silence fell. Only the drip of rain from the roof broke the tension. Tuna wanted to speak but stopped herself. This was Alex's fight now, one that had been brewing for years. Finally, Ms. Puang's voice cracked. "She'll ruin you, Alex. You'll see." Alex turned away. "If love ruins me, then I'll accept that." He walked back to Tuna and gently took her hand. "Let's go inside." Hours later, the storm had passed. Sunlight poured through the kitchen window, casting soft warmth over the room. Henry sat on the floor, playing with his wooden truck again, as if nothing had happened. Alex poured tea for Tuna, his eyes tired but softer now. "I'm sorry for everything you went through," he said quietly. "You didn't deserve that." Tuna shook her head. "Neither did you. Your mother, she's hurt, Alex, but she's still your mother." He exhaled heavily. "I know, but she crossed a line." "People do terrible things when they're scared," Tuna murmured. "Maybe she's just afraid of losing you." Alex looked at her, admiration flickering in his eyes. "Even after everything, you still see the good in her." Tuna smiled faintly. "Because I see the good in you." He reached across the table, taking her hand. "From now on, no one's coming between us. Not my mother, not anyone." She nodded, eyes glistening. "We'll face it together." Meanwhile, across town, Mai sat alone on a park bench, her umbrella resting beside her. The morning sun glinted off the puddles around her feet. She scrolled through her messages, one from Ms. Puang flashing at the top. "You failed." Her fingers hovered over the screen before she deleted it. She stared into the distance, expression weary. In her mind, she saw Alex's face, not angry, but disappointed. That hurt more than anything. "Maybe it's time I stopped trying to win love that was never mine," she whispered. As she stood to leave, she looked back one last time at the orchard hills in the distance. A single tear slid down her cheek, lost in the morning light. That evening, the orchard was alive again. Workers returned, laughter echoing through the rows of trees. Alex and Tuna stood side by side, guiding the replanting effort. Henry toddled nearby, clutching a grapefruit leaf, his giggle ringing through the air. Ms. Puang watched from a distance, her expression softening as she saw them together. For the first time, she noticed the peace on her son's face, the same peace he'd never found in the city. in boardrooms, or in wealth. Maybe, she thought, love wasn't meant to fit into the boxes she built. She turned quietly and walked away, leaving them in the golden glow of sunset. Later that night, Alex sat on the porch, Henry asleep in his lap. The moon hung low, silvering the grove in calm light. Tuna joined him, wrapping a blanket around his shoulders. He smiled faintly. "Do you think she'll ever forgive me?" Tuna leaned against him. "Mothers always forgive eventually. It just takes time." He nodded, eyes drifting toward the horizon. "I just want Henry to grow up here, free, safe, surrounded by people who love him, not trapped in someone else's idea of success." Tuna brushed her fingers through Henry's hair. "Then that's what we'll build, a new beginning." Alex looked at her, gratitude and love blending in his gaze. "You saved me, you know." She laughed softly. "I think we saved each other."